Mic check 212, bitch.
What is up, guys? A little bit rusty here. Feels like it's been a little bit since I've been on here for a live stream. This is DDP of the Dallas Prospect back with another, well, can't really call this a technical podcast. I guess we'll call this kind of like a game companion, seeing as the Mavericks are playing right now against the Pacers. What I got here is Indiana 59, Dallas 57 at the moment. But yeah, we're going to talk some Mavs basketball, and we'll go from there as well. Talk some Mavs basketball, talk about, it looks like tanking might be on the menu after all, even though, what was it, a week ago, I definitively said would not happen. That did not age well for me. But first in the house, Gle, how's it going, man? Again, thank you guys for being patient the past few days. I was not feeling well myself Sunday. I think I had a little bit of food poisoning. And then last night when I was planning the makeup show, I got pushed back again. The missus had an unexpected trip to the urgent care. She's fine now, so everything's good there. No worries. My lighting is just all up in my business right now. But everything's good, so here we are the next night. We are rolling Mavs fast break, or game companion, however you want to view it. Let's see here. Connor Mitchell, what's good? Cam Hicks, agreed. Don't know if we'll be able to get our pick back. Yeah, here's the thing for Dallas, right? So in making the trades they made, they wanted to open up salary cap space for the summer, which we knew was going to be the case. And they wanted to, I mean, you could say they wanted to tank. It was building for next year and opening up salary cap for the summer. So they made those investments, or rather divestments. 4 of the 5 starters go out the door. Dirk for 3. 4 of the 5 starters go out the door. You already were several games back of the last playoff spot before these moves. So now you're running Luka as your point, which is not always a bad thing by any means. In fact, most of the time it's a good thing. And then you're running a lot of young guys with him. It's just not a team built to make any kind of playoff run. And with that being the case, that changes the equation, needless to say. Regarding the likelihood of them losing that pick to Atlanta, yeah, it's very likely. But your odds of getting the top pick are even, regardless of which of the 6 worst records you are. Mike is trembling a little bit on me. Regardless of which of the 6 worst records you are. So the Mavericks still have a shot. But yes, to your point, Glad, it would absolutely suck if we wind up just outside of that top 5 protected pick. And then Atlanta gets another really good player to add to Trae Young. Because Trae Young is no slouch, man. He is a very good player for them. Now, I still say if you're basing it on just a 1-to-1, Dallas won that trade. And that's not to say Atlanta necessarily lost it. They just didn't win it as well as they could have. And now if they get another player of that caliber to pair with Trae Young, and it's basically that 2-for-1, well, Dallas didn't lose because they got Luka, which allowed them to make the move for KP, and we know how that changes the future of the franchise. So I hate how people base trades on winner and loser. It's not always like that. Like, it's not elementary in that sense. You can have some team that wins very well on a deal, the Mavericks, and another team who wins still well in the case of, like, the Hawks. Like, right now, the Hawks still won well. They just didn't win to the degree that Dallas did for the moment. We'll see. But, it is what it is. Let me see here. There was a stat I wanted to point out on how close the Mavericks are in that discussion for tanking and the benefit that they could have as a result of it. Here it is. So the Mavericks only have 2 more wins than the Grizzlies, who have the 6th best lottery odds currently, I believe. And that is a 9% chance for the number 1 pick and a 37% chance at jumping into the top 4. That's considerable odds. So you're 2 games up of the team that has that opportunity. The Grizzlies are the team currently with a 37% chance of getting into the top 4. You're 2 games better. If there's a situation where, you can certainly slip back into that discussion. And then you might get to keep that pick for 1 year, which would be nice. It really would, because any guy you bring in is going to be a low-cost rookie anyway. So you still keep your salary cap in place, and you could add another impact player. It's huge if you can do that. And if you've been watching the channel for a little bit, if you recall, Annie and I were actually making the argument back after they drafted Luka, right after they drafted Luka. We felt like they should have 1 more year of not necessarily tanking, but certainly not going balls to the wall to try and get into the playoffs. And Dallas said, nope, we're going to go for it. We're going to go for it, and we'll see what happens. Well, they went for it. Wasn't great. Not great, Bob. Not great. So ship out 4 guys, pull off a blockbuster for Kristaps Porzingis, and now the future looks pretty bright, especially with the salary cap money that they opened up for this summer. So that and Luka's rock star aura that he's got going on is certainly impactful. Now, regarding the tanking itself, it's not tanking. Like, there are varying degrees of tanking, right? Luka sits out 2 games right after the All-Star break. They say he maybe turned his ankle in a practice. Okay, well, if you're sitting Luka out, I think, I'm not saying I don't think he was hurt. I think he was. But at this point, when you're not in any kind of playoff race, and it kind of behooves you to lose games, if Luka's saying, hey, I tweaked my ankle and it feels a little bit sore today, you're going to look at that and say, well, you're the face of the franchise and everything hinges on you. We're just going to sit you out. No worries. What's that? And the next day it's like, what's that? Still not 100%? I will sit you out this game too. There you go. So it is what it is, but that's one way you can do it. Another way would be if you simply, you're competitive and you're in these games, but Luka's not shooting the ball well. Like his 28, 10, 10, and 9 the other day, nearly had a quadruple-double thanks to 9 turnovers. A game like that, if Dallas is going to win right now, especially with this cast, Luka's going to have to play 40 minutes plus a game. That's not great for what you want to do. Because, one, you're wearing him out. You're overexposing him to potential injury. I almost said injury. And that's not good. So that's when you say, hey, we'll play him 30 to 35 minutes, maybe a little more, give or take, and we're going to see what happens. It's probably not going to be enough to win, but you know what? He's still getting experience, and he's still getting a chance to develop and kind of get more comfortable with the game. So something else to consider there. That's why I mean there's varying degrees of tanking. Just because you're not going balls to the wall to win every game doesn't mean that you're tanking. It just means that you're being a little bit strategic with regard to your overall health. So it is what it is. I see Luka's here on the bench again now. Another interesting quote, if you look back to Mark Cuban in 2017, talking about what it would look like if the Mavericks were tanking. He specifically mentions playing all your young guys and basically jokes having Salah Mejri shoot threes. Salah Mejri has shot a few 3-pointers since coming back to the team. So, hey, there's something there. Let's see. Still mad Phoenix signed Ray Spalding. Yeah, I hated losing Ray. It kind of feels to me like the Jonathan Motley situation. I didn't like that either. But for Ray Spalding, Motley we had for a little while. We kind of had an idea of what we felt he was. I don't think we gave Ray Spalding that much of a chance to show what he could be. And I felt like that was, I said it multiple times on the show, I felt like that was one of the steals of the draft. And to then give up on him right before the All-Star break of his rookie year is kind of like, oh, God, it's so deflating. Phoenix got a good one, I think. So that's good for them. We'll see what he becomes. Cam Hicks, you can tell we've been tanking lately. Luka sat out 2 games with ankle soreness after a whole week of All-Star break. Yep, that is true. Dirk starting equals instant take. Hey, speaking of Dirk, he is really closing in on Wilt at this point for back to number 6 all-time in NBA scoring. Now, he was 6th before, but then LeBron passed him, and as a result of that, LeBron's now number 5, Wilt is 6th, and Dirk is 7th. Dirk, because of this little stretch he's been on since the All-Star break, he looks like he will catch Wilt. Even if this year is it for him, he looks like he'll catch him. He's had 15 points and 12 points in the last couple games, and that's huge because he only had to average like 4.4 points per game after the All-Star break to still catch Wilt. And now that his minutes are up around 25 minutes a game instead of 12 or 15, it opens things up for him. And the thing about that too, if you look at Dirk's situation, he hasn't announced he's retiring. I mean, he got that awesome ovation, classy move from Doc Rivers at LA the other night. He's never said he's retiring. Now, part of that is because Dirk said even when Kobe was doing his absurd farewell tour where he got gifts at every arena and a video package at every arena he went to, that was so over the top and ridiculous. Dirk, when asked about it, he said, no, that's not what I would want. I would probably just silently go about business and then at the exit meeting just say, yeah, I think this is it for me. Dirk doesn't want all this. I think he's appreciative but also uncomfortable in these moments where you have like Boston and New York just raining down praise on him, and the Clippers, Doc Rivers stopping the game with 9 seconds left to talk on the PA, and basically it's kind of uncomfortable. You can tell he wasn't really planned. Helps that the game was out of reach because Doc Rivers apparently was thinking the same thing previously when Dwayne Wade came through there, but the difference there was that game was still close, so he wasn't going to do that. With Dallas down like 9 points and 9 seconds left, Doc Rivers calls a timeout just to be like, Dirk Nowitzki, let's go. Like, everyone's kind of like looking around like, what? Wait, what? What's happening? Oh, Dirk. Okay, this is, yes, Dirk, all-time great. And then Rivers finally kind of acknowledges what he's saying, like, Dirk Nowitzki, one of the greatest of all time. Like, it was a cool moment, but you could tell it was just like kind of impromptu, and everyone kind of took a moment to look around like, huh? It's 9 seconds left, dude. I was heading for the exit. What's happening? So Dirk's going to get the chance to catch Wilt at this point. That's cool. Dirk might still come back for one more year. I think he's using these last 21 games roughly just to see, because he has looked a little bit better. The first 50 games of this year, he looked done. And I'm still not sold on the idea that he's coming back, but I think he wants to see what he has left in the tank. And because he had that setback with his ankle surgery in the offseason, more specifically right before the start of this season, I think it kind of changed the framing of his thought process regarding potentially retiring. It would be hilarious and awkward as hell if Dirk did come back next year. Like, those same people that cheered him, all those arenas, are they still going to be cheering him, or are they going to kind of be sitting there like, this son of a bitch? We'll see. Let's see. So, Francesca Lara, what's up? Do you think the Mavs are going to get the 5th pick? Well, as I mentioned earlier, they're 2 games ahead of the Grizzlies in the win column. The Grizzlies have the 6th best odds currently and a 37% chance of getting a pick in the top 4. 37% is obviously not 50%, but that's a really reasonable percentage. So even though the Mavs have won more games than they did all of last year, it's a discussion you got to have. And I said this earlier. I declared that the Mavericks weren't going to tank. I was certain a week ago. Hell, I was certain in the article I wrote, I think it still was technically last week, like last Thursday. I wrote an article talking specifically about, not specifically about that, but I led off the article saying they would not tank. Well, now they've lost 3 in a row, and they're heading towards what could be a 4th against the Pacers. So who knows? Like, it could end up being the case. At this point, it's like, all right, well, we're back to that discussion again. Let's see. So do I think they could get it? Certainly could. This is the last year it would fit within their plans and thinking of doing so. It would be great if they do. I would be upset if they ended up with like the 6th pick or something like that, and you just gave Atlanta a phenomenal pick, literally the best pick they could possibly get from Dallas in this situation. I think it's hilarious how silly some of the Hawks fans were in talking about the deal, because obviously they're terrible this year too, and so they're going to have their chance. Their assumption that what they're already declaring is like, oh, we're going to get Zion and another phenomenal player to add with that, and then look at the Luka trade. Oh, it's great. You got Luka out of the deal, but we got Trey and Zion and this other guy, and it's like, bro, don't put the cart before the horse. Like, see where you end up in the lottery order. Mavericks should have been the 3rd pick last year and not had to do the stupid trade with you. They had the 3rd best odds for the best or for the top pick in the draft, and they got screwed in the lottery drawing. So they wound up with 5th, and then they had to make that trade with you to make sure that they kept Luka. So it is what it is, but don't get it twisted and start making your championship banner for 2021 or whatever. I feel bad that we're making him retire, but since he is the GOAT, we just need to say goodbye just in case. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he kind of joked that, like, oh, well, the fans have kind of made up the decision for me, it seems, like, regarding the ovations he's getting at every arena around the league. And that's true, but I don't know, man. You got, 11 home games left now to see Dirk, potentially? I mean, I don't know about you. I'm going to get back out there. I went to a couple games early this season, but Dirk hadn't played yet. I am hell-bent on getting back to a Mavericks game this season, a home game, so that I can see Dirk play at least one more time in person. Dirk is like the peak athlete, my favorite athlete, I guess you would say, of all time. Like, I really started to pay very close attention in the NBA around 2002. Dirk, at that point, is in his, I think, 3rd season. He was in the 98 draft, but he was, because of the lockout, he didn't actually debut until February 99. So that was my dude. His 3rd season, that was when he really broke out. And Mavericks, I think it was the next year they went in the 02-03 season. They go to the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs. They lose in 6. Dirk misses almost the entire Western Conference Finals with a sprained MCL. And the Mavericks pushed him to 6. And Dirk would have been ready for Game 7. So if Steve Kerr doesn't catch fire and knock down like 4 or 5 big threes in the 4th quarter of that game, can't tell me otherwise. Dirk has 2 rings, and if Miami in 06 doesn't happen, Dirk has 3. And then where are we talking about Dirk's legacy? So that's my dude. Dirk is my dude. That is the most humble superstar I think I've ever seen in any sport ever. He still doesn't even like to acknowledge himself as the greatest international player of all time, because he'll say things like, oh, well, this guy paved the way for me and this guy paved the way for me. Bro, that's cool, but you don't have to be so humble. Like, they paved the way, that's great, but that doesn't mean that you're not a better player than most or all of them. I mean, like, I guess with Olajuwon, you can make a discussion there, but still, we know, Dirk, it's cool. Just accept the praise given to you. You can kind of play it off and like, oh, well, that's nice. I don't know if I'd go that far. You know what I mean? It's whatever. Just accept it. Nice little run there for the Mavericks. What do you guys think of the Charlotte Hornets court? My stream's a little bit delayed from what you guys are probably looking at. Going back with the 90s court. It's kind of cool, but I think it's kind of cool for like small sample sizes. I feel like they use it too much. Any chance we sign Goran Dragic? Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me answer that in a second. Grizz are playing the Bulls and Mavs playing the Pacers. Fair enough. Any chance we sign Goran Dragic? I've been hearing rumblings he might come to Dallas. Nice backcourt. Well, maybe. But here's the thing. The score, I think I just saw it was like 73-72. It's in a commercial now, so I'll have to tell you in a second. I've heard rumblings of that, but I've actually cooled a bit on the pursuit of Sasha, or I always say Sasha, Nikola Vucevic. I'm thinking Vujacic. That's what I'm thinking. Sasha Vujacic. It's very similar. I've actually cooled a little bit on my pursuit of him, not for any reason, like nothing against him. I think he's a great player, but he is 29 years old, and the idea of basically maxing him out scares me a little bit. You also have the fact that he's not a great defensive center. He's not especially athletic and great foot speed, and that's stuff you need to pair with KP. So, yeah, I would like to go with a different direction on that. I don't know who that is. Tim Hardaway Jr., 16.8 points per game his last 6 games. 3 rebounds, 41% on field goals, 4 20-point games. All right, nice. But I think they need to do something like that. Something a little different maybe in that regard. I don't know what the answer is necessarily, but there's a discussion to be had there regarding 74-73 Dallas, by the way, is the score. there's a discussion to be had there about what Dallas should do. I think maybe you need to pair something a little different. Not necessarily think Euro super team. I would love to see them, and this is something that was expressed by Mark Stein of the New York Times. What they would do, the interest in Vucevic has been a little bit overstated, and who they're really huge on, really, really want. And shout out to Max Levy, Rangers King, 669 for the calling this out. He's been on this since literally the start of the season. They are really high on the potential for Chris Middleton to decline his player option in Milwaukee. He would fit phenomenally well. Now, he's not a big, he's not a center, but he would fit phenomenally well with Dallas. That's who Mark Stein says they are most interested in adding. But the problem is Milwaukee has the best record in the NBA. Middleton is close with Giannis as well. And they're probably going to make a deep playoff run. And because of bird rights, they can afford to pay these guys whatever they want. So even if he did opt out of his player option, he could get whatever money he wanted. And if they make a deep playoff run, they're going to pay everybody to come back. They got guys who are going to be free agents, several to consider. Brook Lopez, Middleton could be one. Brogdon, another one. Those are all guys to consider. But because of bird rights, they could go, as if they're willing to pay the luxury tax, they can do whatever they want to keep them. Let's see here. So that's something to consider. Ninja Roost, 79-75 Dallas. You should make a mock draft for the Mavericks if they get the 5th pick back. If they get the 5th pick back, yeah, I will, or if they hang on to it, I will definitely look to do something like that. Absolutely. We'll know if we're tanking when we see Rick's 4th quarter rotation, probably. Yeah, I mean, probably at that point. If it's confusing or an odd rotation, then that could certainly signify, at the very least, they're not going to fight for this game. Indiana is, I think, the 3 seed in the East right now, and that's even without Victor Oladipo, who was a beast for them. So they're not a bad team at all. This is actually kind of like we saw the last couple of years. These are actually great games for Dallas, where you're losing the game, yeah, but you're being competitive and you're getting a lot of growth out of it for your younger players. I think Powell grew a lot in the last 2 years playing in games like this. So just got to see. This is good for Luka, though. Luka to the corner to Hardaway. Hardaway, tough pull-up jumper. No good. All right, Indiana with the rebound. Let's see here. You don't see 2 big men teams doing good these days. I mean, not unless they're versatile and can spread the floor. And that was part of why people were talking about like Vucevic, because he can extend his game a little bit while still being a low post guy. Wes Matthews is finally starting to let Dallas have it. I think he's got like 10 points now. Hardaway Jr. from half court. Missed. All right. So Dallas looks like I think they have a 1-point lead, 79-78 going into the 4th quarter. Wes Matthews getting rolling a little bit finally. For like a 2-year deal, though. Rather go after Brogdon or Middleton. Yeah, I would agree with that. So what do you think we're going to do with our $30 million trade, or $30 million if not Vucevic, and with our $13 million trade exception? Well, if they don't use the full cap they have in the summer, then it rolls over and becomes the biggest trade exception in NBA history. Who do I think they go after? I would love to see them go after Julius Randle. I know they snubbed him last. I mean, he's... Weird sound. I know he's a Dallas kid. He wants to play for the Mavericks, reportedly. And it's also a situation where... I don't know what the hell I'm hearing outside, but it keeps distracting me. Additionally... they snubbed him last year because they felt, 1, he didn't have any ability to stretch the floor an outside game. 2, he wasn't a great defender. And his style of play just didn't fit within what they want to do. These are the things we were told. So, he goes to the Pelicans, 2 years, $9 million. Holy crap. Or no, sorry, $9 million a season, $18 million, 2 for 19 or 2 for 18. Like, holy crap, that is value. I would have loved to have taken him. And he's balling out this year. Like, regardless of what happens with the Anthony Davis situation, which he's gone. The question is when in the offseason and to who? Probably LA. It's still a situation where it's like, dude, he's going to opt out. He being Julius Randle. He's going to opt out of his deal. If he's interested in Dallas, they should look at him because he's playing great this year. He's a 20-10 guy this season. Dallas needs that. Now, he's a little undersized for a front court player, but he plays great in front of his hometown crowd. And, I mean, I've watched him single-handedly pretty much derail the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were the 3 seed in the West, without Anthony Davis on the court. Like, he is legit. And he's extended his range this year. He's still not a great defender, but you can make do, man. Like, you can. Like, they're all right. So, Julius Randle, I would love to see them pick him up. I don't want Porzingis trading elbows with Joel Embiid, which is why you definitely need a big guy as well. Hassan Whiteside is a perfect center for the Mavs because he is an amazing rebounder with a great defensive player, and you can have Porzingis carry the offensive workload in the front court. He would be interesting to pair with him. I think he is a tough locker room guy in the sense that they're not that high on him, and the Heat have tried getting rid of him a couple times. So I think it's a tough sell there. His talent is interesting to me, but I know even Heat fans aren't that high on him, there's always red flags that go up in that case for me. Haven't paid any attention to the draft this year except for Zion. Yeah, and I've only paid a little bit of attention beyond that, so I'm gonna have to do a deep dive before that preview if they get to hang on to their 5th pick, top 5 pick, let's say. DDP, my prayers are toward your family. Thanks for Cowboys X Factor. Thankfully everything's fine. The missus, for those wondering, she's fine. She had just an illness yesterday, just something flare up and was a little scary for a little bit. Got her some medicine. She's doing better today. In fact, I think she was back at work today. So everything's fine there. No worries. I didn't get back home last night until late in the evening, and so I didn't get a chance to do this show then. Tank. Yeah. We need a big man. Clippers killed us. Montrezl Harrell. I've wanted him for a while on Dallas. Obviously, I don't know his new contract situation, but that's a kind of big I would want. Is any sleeping outside your house or something? Asked Glad. No, Any is not sleeping in the grass out there as far as I know. As far as I know, he's at home. But yeah. Nothing new there. The sound stopped, whatever it was. I don't know. Probably just some neighbor doing something. We can use Randle, but still need to address the center position. I agree. And part of why I say Randle is you don't have to max him out. So you got $30 million in cap space. You don't have to max out Randle to get him. Now you're gonna have to pay him better than what $9 million he was making this year, but still. Solar Flare, what's up? What's good? What's good, Solar Flare? Let's see here. Can Julius Randle play power forward and the Unicorn play center? Randle plays power forward. He's definitely not a small forward. He's an undersized power forward, but he is a 4. But Porzingis can play 5, but he's a preferred 4. Kind of like Dirk in that regard, even though he's 7'3", he just does not do a lot of low post stuff. There's Dirk raining down. I'm guessing a 3. Dirk's fired up. Let's see here. And then we let Dougie McBuckets dunk on us. That's the one Innie is upset about. Innie, just like I took forever to get over the loss of Seth Curry, Innie I don't think has truly gotten over the loss of Doug McDermott. Let's see here. You see Wade hit the game winner. I didn't see it, but I did see the notification on it. I didn't see the actual thing, though. I'll check that out here in a bit. Luka's flirting with another triple-double. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, this is the last game for Luka as a teenager in the NBA. Previously, there was only one game in NBA history with a triple-double by a teenager. That was Markelle Fultz, the youngest to ever do it, in fact. And now Luka, through 56, now on his 57th game of his NBA career, has 4. That is legit history. So this is the last game for Luka at age 20. Can Julius already answer that? AS, do you do local radio at DFW? LOL 15. No, I don't do any radio shows or anything in DFW. Although if they wanted to put me on there, I would absolutely accept. Yeah, no, I don't do any radio or anything like that, sports talk radio. Although I do certainly listen and consume a bunch of that just because it helps me do these shows and everything I do to talk Mavericks or Cowboys. I don't know what you mean by 15. Do you think Kostas will get playing time next year? I think Kostas will get playing time later this year. I think as we get closer and we go full tank mentality, might as well, you're going to play the younger guys anyway. Bring them up. They can bring them up for a little bit of action and get a look at them. Do I think he'll play next year? He'll get moments next year for sure, but next year it's going to be even tougher, I would argue, because they're going to be in full try to make the playoffs mode. They're going to have another front court player there with him as well in Porzingis, and then you got another star, presumably, that Dallas can bring in. So it's tough. So it's tough to envision him getting a big role next year, which is why I think it's actually critical to get him in now and let him start adjusting and getting some rapport with Luka. We let so many shooters go this past summer, and that's the thing we need. Well, here's the thing, and I told Annie this 100 times when he was upset about the whole situation letting go of Dougie McBuckets. McBuckets got 3 years for $22 million, fully guaranteed. Was it 3 years or was it 2? It was something to that effect where the number and the per year amount gave me cause for pause. Cause for pause. That's an interesting little rhyme. And the thing is, McDermott probably, I mean, not from a financial standpoint, he's been traded like 4 times now already in his NBA career, so I totally understand him taking his big payday finally. But at the same time, his role in Dallas, had he stayed, would have been bigger than his role he has in Indiana right now. And so, Dirk Nowitzki, 4-3. So Dirk coming into this game, I think he needed 80 points to catch Wilt. Now he's 69 points away, says Gleh. Yeah, Dirk's going to catch Wilt at this rate before St. Patrick's Day. We'll go back to calling him 6. That is the freaking GOAT right there. He might walk like he's an 87-year-old man, but damn it, is that a beautiful jump shot. So, as I try and regain my train of thought. Oh, what's up? Salute, AS. Thanks for the subscription. Welcome to the family. Additionally here, let's see, Dirk's balling. I'm going to go to the Houston game on the 10th. Hope he can break it there, but that's being optimistic. That's a legit game. I haven't figured out what game I'm going to look at yet, but I'm interested in checking it out for sure. Wilt 7, Dirk 6. Dirk hasn't caught Wilt yet, unless you're just predicting it. All time. No, Dirk is 7th currently. Wilt is 6th. Because Dirk was 6th with Wilt at 5th, but LeBron caught Dirk and then caught Wilt. So now LeBron is 5th, Wilt is 6th, Dirk is 7th. But he'll catch him, so he'll get it back. Doesn't matter. Dirk has played 1,400 games in his career. 1,500 games in his career. That is 4th all time. And that's insane that he's 4th all time in games played. Does not include postseason, I don't think. Otherwise, I would imagine he's higher than that, maybe. Fun fact, do you guys know who the most games all time record is held by? In the comments, comment if you know it. Number 1 most games all time. So Dirk's gonna have some elite company, and he is like 111 games away from the most games played all time, which is insane. Insane that he's that close. The thing is, if he came back next year, so you think about it, you got like 21 games left this year, maybe 22 if you include this one. If Dirk plays the rest of this season and then comes back next year and plays, let's say, I mean, even if he did that, he couldn't quite catch it because unless they made a postseason run and they did it, that wouldn't catch it. But still very interesting. Dirk is, 69 points away from passing Wilt Chamberlain 4-6 all time. There you go. He can't get to first, even if he comes back next year, because I don't think they count playoffs. But he could get past the next 2 entries on the list. No one in the comments has entered the name, the most games played all time. AS, close choice. That would have been my pick had I not already heard this fact. It is actually Robert Parrish, who is the most games played all time. He played till he was like, I don't know, 44, 47, who knows. He played forever, and that is who Dirk is chasing. Well, not chasing. It's not like he's going to catch him, but that is the most games played all time. Boston Celtics great. So we'll see what happens with that. But Kareem is ahead of Dirk, and I think Stockton is also ahead of Dirk. It's like Dirk at 4, Stockton 3, Kareem 2, and Parrish 1, I believe. Dirk could catch, if he came back next year, he could catch both Stockton and Kareem, which is awesome. Here comes Maxey back into the game, Dallas. Dirk coming out of the game to a standing ovation. 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Dallas leads 88-83. I saw Gless say that the Grizzlies lost and the Mavericks look like they're trying to win. Kind of goes against the tanking narrative, but we'll see. There's still time. What's Luka's stat line at here? He just got another board. I think last I saw he had like 19 or 21 points and like 9 boards, 6 assists. It'd be cool for him to get a triple-double on his last game as a teenager in the NBA. Step back does not drop for Luka. Dirk is finally getting the credit for what he deserved since 2011. Dirk, that's the thing. Dirk's name got such disrespect around the league. I mean, I think guys respected his game and his influence, but like when you talked like in a lot of media circles, he just did not get a lot of respect around the league until they finally won the championship, and that kind of rewrote his legacy because he was in the discussion for the Charles Barkley kind of situation, which is one of the greatest to never win a championship. You got guys like Barkley in that. You have Nash in that. Steve Nash never even got to the finals once. Barkley at least got to the finals. So Dirk finally broke through that mold. That was huge, and that kind of changed things. But because Dallas blew up its championship team immediately and hasn't won a playoff series since the 2011 NBA Finals, they've just kind of been an afterthought. And Dirk hadn't really gotten the respect he deserved until he hit 30,000 career points, and that kind of caught people's attention. And then he moved up, and it was like, now he's caught Shaq on the scoring list. Now he's caught, Olajuwon. So, like, he's just kind of kept going up and up the scoring list, and now people are like, son of a bitch, he's top 6. He won't get top 5 because of LeBron catching him. Had LeBron not caught him, he could have caught Wilt and gotten in at least briefly to the top 5, which would have been really stinking cool. But it is what it is. He's top 10 scoring all time, top 6, will be top 6 scoring, top 4 in terms of games played, and so many other stats. He's in just elite company. Let's see here. Been going 40 minutes. Dallas leads by 188-87. KP looking stylish on the bench in a plaid suit. The unicorn. Go Fuse Troll. If Mavs get top 5, they should pick Bull. I mean, they had interest in Mo Bamba, and that's another freakishly tall guy. I got to take a look at Bull. All I know is obviously who his dad is and how freakishly tall he is. Jalen Brunson kicks to the corner. Kleba up top. Swings around to Hardaway Jr. Deep 3. Front rim. All right. Good. Let's see here. So, Wesley Matthews misses the jump shot, throws up his arms. Looks like, who's that down for the Mavericks? Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is limping a little bit. I didn't see exactly what happened, but Wes is who fouled him. I think Wes reached kind of around trying to get the board and just popped him up in the face. Let's see. No, we shouldn't. We already have what you would want Bol to become. Yeah. Like I said, I have to do more of a deep dive on the draft as that comes around. Any has a lot more a lot more strong opinions on that than I do. Tim Hardaway Jr. for 3. And then, of course, Rangers King Max has a lot as well. So, hey, what would you guys think? What would you guys think if I were to sprinkle in an actual podcast content-wise for you guys? Not just... Previously, I've always just taken these shows I do live and then just kind of thrown the audio up on a podcast, which is on iTunes and Google Play Store and all that. What would you think about me and maybe any doing an actual like Mavs podcast once a week? I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. It'd be content you don't get here, not on the channel, and I don't know that I would just take the audio from it and throw it up because the YouTube algorithm has really targeted that kind of video now where it's not very favorable towards it. It'll take away, I think, monetization or something crazy, or at least not put you in the recommended next video kind of thing. Any impressions on Justin Jackson so far? I like Justin Jackson a lot. He was a lottery pick last year. I like a lot of what he could become, but he's a little bit of a project, I feel. But I like him for what they got in return for Harrison, and I'd like to see what they can do with it. What he can kind of develop into. I think he'll just be a good role player for him. I don't think he's going to be like a significant building block, if that's what you mean. Connor and MKD both up for it. Like it. Sweet. I'll talk with Indy and see about setting that up then. I don't know exactly. It'll be a Mavs podcast. I don't know the exact premise of what it's going to be, if it's going to be some kind of gimmick or if it's just going to be straight Mavs talk once a week, just kind of talking on the state of things. But I'm looking to change it up. If you guys have seen a little bit of my new TPN sports content I'm rolling out, I'm hard at work on another one of those. Oh, sorry, that clap might have been really loud into the mic, in which case I apologize. So I've told you guys before, if you guys have watched me for a little while, you know I've mentioned probably since back in September, October at least, a retrospective series that I was going to start. And I was going to start with the 2006 Dallas Mavericks. That project got put on the back burner for some time as I initially didn't have all the equipment I needed and kind of the manpower, frankly, to do it all and produce it. And I have this particular vision in my head of how I want it to be, and I felt like unless I could deliver exactly that, I didn't want to roll something out there and just have it be kind of half-assed. So I got into conversations with Dallas Sports Fanatic, who I write for. And, you know, that's when my work gets picked up on Bleacher Report, my Mavericks or Cowboys articles. It's the articles I write for Dallas Sports Fanatic. And so I started talking with them specifically about kind of helping me produce this series. And now, as of today, we've got the green light to produce that. So I'm going to work on kind of touching up the script, if you will, that I've written. And I got to start making some phone calls because there are a bunch of cameos and collaborations I'm setting up with other content creators. And we're going to try and put something together. We're going to try and make this happen. So I'm going to submit the script once I get it to Dallas Sports Fanatic, Michael Lark. And from there, we're going to begin basically the pre-production process where we're going to figure out kind of staffing, shooting locations. We're going to figure this out, and we're going to do this up big, is what I'm saying. So be on the lookout for that. Officially have the green light. That's a significant goal that I've had for a little while on this channel. If you've been watching, you probably know that. And if you haven't seen it, if you know nothing of what I'm talking about, hey, you're in for a treat. It'll be good. If you like the TP and sports stuff I do now, just wait until you see what I do with actual manpower and everything behind me, when I actually have a cameraman, and when I have a director and all this other stuff going on. So we'll see, but this is going to be cool. I'm very excited. So that's today's development. Mavs lead 93-89 with 5:10 to play. Indiana with the ball, bringing it up. Let's see. Sloppy play, corner three. Got it. All right. Guy nearly turns it over. Gets him back, though. Was that Jordan? We're winning. That we are. We are winning. Kleba for three. Bucket. Ooh. Okay, 96-91 Dallas, 4:30 to play. This does not look like a team trying to tank. The weird sounds are back again, in case you're wondering. It's probably an axe murderer out there. I'm probably going to die. It's fine. All right. So, let me know in the comments, guys, who are you interested in seeing Dallas go after in free agency? Do you think that they can get a big fish? And if so, who is it that you most want? Me, I'm partial, if he's available, to Chris Middleton. I would be interested in DeMarcus Cousins as well. I think there's also interest in... I still have some interest in Vucevic, but I wouldn't be as excited about him as I would have been before. Someone asked about Goran Dragic earlier. I totally forgot to answer that part of the comment. Sorry. Would I be interested in Dragic? Maybe. I mean, there's no mystery that he and Luka are close. They are former teammates and all that. So it would be good in that regard. The question is, how much do I have to pay him? And defensively, how would he pair? Because we're basically running Luka anywhere from the 1 to the 4, depending on our lineup. How would he pair at times in the backcourt with Luka defensively? Because that's something you got to be able to address. What Dallas really needs is athletes. Wait, let me put my hand where it's not blocked by the comments. Athletes and three-point shooters. Athletes/defenders and three-point shooters. Dragic does not really fit that bill, but it is a floor general, and it is a guy that Luka is close with. I don't doubt that he would be, in a lot of respects, good for Dallas in that way. Mahaz, what's up? 4:30 here in Slovenia. Good morning to everybody, and a podcast would be a great idea. Appreciate it, man. Man, 4:30. You were. I was gonna say burning the midnight oil, but I guess at this point it's just considered waking up super early. Early bird gets the worm. That expression, something like that. I don't know. Whichever side of the spectrum you're on, salute for checking out the show this time of night, morning. Let's see. I've heard rumors about Vucevic. Yeah, Vucevic. I've heard from Mark Stein of the New York Times, formerly used to be around Dallas a lot, that the interest in Vucevic is a little bit overstated, and that they are more interested in like Chris Middleton. Like that's their pie in the sky guy if he comes available. He was a 20-point scorer last year, great range, more of a small forward type, but he would be fantastic if he left. But he'd be leaving a weaker Eastern Conference, and leaving the team with the best record in the NBA currently, leaving the Greek Freak whom he's close with, and with whom they'll probably have a deep playoff run. So, And like I said, if he leaves, it's only because he wants and picks Dallas over Milwaukee. Because Milwaukee can offer him another year that Dallas can't. Wesley Matthews for 3. 3-point game here. Wesley Matthews is definitely getting what he wanted. 17 points, 5 of 11, 3 of 8 shooting. He's a little salty. But yeah, it's just a question of what they want to do. Corner 3, Luka. There's a splashback from Kleba. Dallas 194. Middleton as well. Like I said, close there. They'll probably get a deep playoff run. It would basically be like, hey, Milwaukee matches exactly our... Not only does Milwaukee... Just simply matching our contract wouldn't even be enough. It'd have to be like they offer him the max, and he still takes a year less than the max Dallas can offer to come here. That's the only way it would probably happen. And you'd probably be overpaying a little bit to give him the max, but to add a player like that to this team would be phenomenal because that dude can defend and he can score, and perfect fit with Luka if he's there. All right, Dallas forces a turnover with 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Let's see here. Kevin Durant going to Dallas. Oh, man. I ranted on Durant already, if you watched my TPN Sports thing. And here's food for thought if you guys are wondering. If I'm ranting and raving in TPN, it's not always verbatim what I actually think. It's usually an exaggerated form of it. But regardless, there is truth to how I feel about the whole situation with Kevin Durant. You know, I'm from Norman, Oklahoma, and so I've deep three. Ooh, so deep three, Luka. Oh. I gotta find a drop for this. Oh. 22, 9, and 6 is the Luka stat line, so no triple-double on the last day of a teenager, but whatever.
Oh, my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Then on cue, Wesley Matthews hits another 3. All right. So, who else was I talking about? Yeah, KD, being from Norman, I also closely follow the Oklahoma City Thunder. Don't worry, Mavericks are my team. That is my number one. Thunder are like my secondary team that I'll watch. And as long as they're not playing the Mavericks, I'll pull for them to win. But I saw all the Kevin Durant saga play out, and I just don't think that's a good locker room guy to put in. He turns things into a circus around him. I mean, just look at his departure from OKC. Even his last year in OKC, he became oddly adversarial to the media and even some fans. Now you see kind of the circus he's helping kind of turn the whole season into for the Golden State Warriors, and it's just like, I don't want to put my very young, impressionable face of my franchise cornerstone for hopefully the next 10 years at least, Luka Doncic, around Kevin Durant. That just feels less than ideal. Middleton won't leave. Giannis is there, and the Bucks having the number 1 seed. I agree, Seth. Would you forgive KD if he comes to Dallas? No. Kevin Durant could come to Dallas. Dallas could win a championship. And in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, every shot Durant hit, I would quietly pump my fists for the sake of Dallas, but I would never cheer him. And I would still call him a snake. So no, I would not forgive him. I would just acknowledge and hope for what the team is and what they can achieve and be like, all right, we won. But son of a bitch, Kevin Durant had to get another ring for that too. Klay Thompson or Smith? Klay Thompson would be a fantastic fit. Perfect, exactly who they need. A good defender, a spot-up three-point shooter, literally about as good a spot-up three-point shooter as you'll get. That was a nice shot by Jalen, by the way. I'm watching the replay of it, but I'm delayed or not acknowledging that was a damn fine shot. But yes, Klay Thompson would be a perfect fit. If Durant leaves for New York, then maybe that opens up for Klay. Because the window is closing a little bit now for Golden State. They could still be competitive and maybe even get another one after Durant leaves, certainly. But I don't feel as confident about it by any means. The dynasty, for all intents and purposes, and when I say the dynasty, I mean like the foregone conclusion dynasty would be closed. So maybe then he thinks, hey, I'm not going to go be the number 1 option anywhere. But I could go somewhere else and kind of enhance my legacy a little bit by doing it elsewhere and being part of this team that wasn't even a playoff team last year. If you can get him, go get him, by all means. He's fantastic. You see those crazy stats with him where it's like, he scored 57 points and dribbled the ball 4 times. Not 4 separate occasions of dribbling, 4 bounces. The fact that that became a trackable stat for him shows just how phenomenal of a spot-up shooter he is. And you pair him with Luka, and Dallas creating the 3rd most unguarded three-point attempts in the league this year. Woo! That's too good to pass up. Let's see here. Solar Flare, I don't see Middleton leaving. I agree. I agree on KD. Hope he goes to the Knicks, not wanting his drama to rub off on Luka. Yeah, exactly. I think he probably will either stay with Golden State or he'll go to New York for the Knicks. We'll see. The Clippers wouldn't shock me, honestly. Regardless of which he does. I don't think it'll be here, even though Dallas was given by Westgate Las Vegas Superbook the 4th best odds betting wise to end up in Dallas. So we're now under a minute to play. Dallas has a 107-101 lead. I will ride out the rest of this game and then I will go into the wrap up. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the page. Shout out to our new sub I saw earlier. I believe it was AS. Luka deep 3. Oh. Oof.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
Hit the Ric Flair, especially for the man's 70th birthday the other day.
Woo!
Luka Doncic, 15th triple-double this season. Dallas is going to get this win, 110-101. Wesley Matthews, you balled out, got nearly 20 points, but you followed to your former team. And, we were trying to tank. Not looking that way now. Mavericks win 110-101. Luka Doncic, 26, 7 assists, 10 boards. Nearly a triple-double last game for Luka as a rookie. Was that? Oh, shit, that was Wes he hit it on, too. And Luka stares him down. I like it. Competitive fire. I don't like it for the sense that it hurts the tank mentality, but I like the competitive spirit. You can't snuff that out in a kid. It'll kill his groove, his feng shui. P.S. If we get a big fish like Middleton or KT, no money for a center, so Powell will be our first option, I guess. No, I don't accept that. You can always make moves, and Dallas has the trade exception as well. I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas still tries to roll the dice to get like a Mo Bamba or something in here. They tried to, before they got the Porzingis deal, they tried a straight up deal, Dennis Smith Jr. for Mo Bamba, and people scoffed and lost their minds over that. Now that Mo Bamba's out indefinitely with like a stress reaction in his leg, which by the way cost Seth Curry his entire year last year with Dallas, I'm looking at that and saying, yeah, big ass dude like that with a stress reaction, to me that's worse than like Porzingis coming off an ACL. But, it is what it is. Let's see. So, with that in mind, like the video if you haven't already. Hold on, I have an animation. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Find us on Facebook. Have about 2,500 followers there. Also on Twitter. Here, I'll just run through my whole dog and pony show. Oh, look at that. I'm even nice enough to put Annie's up there. Follow me on Twitter at DDP_journalist. That is me. Also, you can follow just at Dallas Prospect. You'll have me running that. Annie will sometimes run it. And occasionally Rangers King will, I'll give him the keys to the car, so to speak. So check that out. And I don't know if you want, we got a Twitch too. But that's going to do it for my time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back regular scheduled for Sunday, Mavs Fast Break. Hopefully I have Innie here with me. And we're going to do it big like we always do. Look for updates. I will keep you guys posted on updates for the retrospective series and TPN Sports. Hang tight. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Until next time, guys, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.